Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show that will grab Kevin Dunn by his sack and toss him straight to Impact Wrestling. This is Lost in the Midcard. I am your host, Jeremy Bennett. You can find me on Twitter at JBHuskers. And as always, we are hosted by SpiderDuck.net. Thank you to SpiderDuck.net for allowing us to be on iTunes. You can subscribe to us on iTunes or also on YouTube. Our links to both are found on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lost in the Midcard. Go to the notes section, and there they are. As always, I am joined by my co-host, Matt Black, on the Twitter at RawFShowtime. Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man.
Do you like what we want to? Do you like my idea of what to do with Kevin Dunn by now?
Well, all failing management ends up falling into TNA, so I mean that seems to be a decent spot for him. Although I don't even know if I would wish I don't think I'd wish this guy upon any wrestling organization on the planet. I'd probably wish him upon something that was about to go bankrupt and fall flat on its face.
Well, you could pair him up with Vince Russo. That's about as bankrupt as you get.
The two people that they probably deserve each other.
So the reason why I have so much hate for Kevin Dunn is one of our top stories, our first headline of the day. It is apparently becoming evident that Kevin Dunn, who is what is he really in the corporate structure of things, Matt?
I don't know his exact corporate title, but he's pretty much Vince McMahon's right hand man.
Is he like a head writer or?
No, he's way above that. I think he's like executive producer or something like. He's got one of the higher end titles, and he's definitely Vince's right-hand guy in Vince's ear. It's all he's one of Vince's most trusted people within the company, unfortunately.
Executive douchebag, apparently, huh?
There you go. That's perfect. That's probably what it is. We just didn't know.
According to a story on Cage Side Seats and also a report from Dave Meltzer at the Wrestling Observer, they are apparently suggesting the fact that Kevin Dunn is doing everything that he can to prevent Owens from succeeding and ascending to the top. This is the words that Dave Meltzer said here. To begin to explain this, there are two schools of thought on Kevin Owens from the start of the basic gist that was there. Some people thought he was going to make it, and some people that thought he wasn't going to make it. And to those who thought he wasn't going to make it, made sure he got every opportunity to make it, or else they would be wrong. You know what I mean? I shouldn't say they should be wrong. They wouldn't prove that they're right. So whether or not he makes it or doesn't make it, there is a game going on, and we're in the middle of the game. And obviously, the game is involved with it, as obviously Kevin Owens is a Triple H guy. Kevin Dunn apparently wants to bury anything NXT, including Bo Dallas, Adam Rose, and Paige really hasn't, been at her full potential, but Dunn has been trying to get into Vince's ear to bury all three of those, apparently. And the reason is the fact that eventually Triple H and Stephanie are going to be taking control, and when they do, Vince's right-hand man, Kevin Dunn, is going to go bye-bye. And so that is why Owens is kind of in this middle of the political battle between Triple H and Dunn. And basically, they're doing everything they can to bury him. That could explain why he didn't win the title at Battleground. That it could explain why Owens is losing a lot lately, basically by just doing a walking out type of thing. Matt, what is your take on all this?
I find it absolutely ridiculous, and the reason is that he's taken to Vince. Of course, favor Vince's mindset because he's claiming that Kevin Owens is the reason that John Cena's merchandise sales have dropped.
Mm-hmm.
I get a news flash for you, Vince, and the WWE shop entity as a whole. The last T-shirt you released for John Cena was at WrestleMania with that stupid United States Championship shirt, which is a remake of a Cena shirt that he had years prior with the old WWE title design. You haven't released the shirt for him in 4 months. You want Cena's merchandise to increase? Release a new freaking T-shirt. It's not rocket science. Kevin Owens is not the reason John Cena's merchandise sales are down. John Cena's merchandise sales are down is because they haven't released anything new for him in the past 4 months.
Yeah, exactly. I thought the same thing. I'm like, yeah, I mean, the shirt's been there since he won the U.S. title. Hello.
He normally changes up like every 2 to 3 months. He's got a new shirt.
Yeah,
I get it. It's smart merchandise for the company and whatnot, but to absolutely not release anything for him, well, you're pretty much proving why his merch is down, because there's nothing new for the kids to beg their parents to buy for them.
Yeah, it is a sad excuse, and that's why the day can't come any sooner that Triple H is in full control of the company.
I mean, it's even worse that Vince is falling for it.
Yeah, well.
But in all seriousness, I mean, how stupid can you be?
I mean,
to really believe that is, oh my God, we let Kevin Owens beat John Cena clean, and we've let Kevin Owens get over on Cena on the microphone a few times. That must be the reason why his merchandise sales are down. Really?
I mean, Kevin Owens is a heel, and look at how much merchandise he's pushed.
Yep.
Look at how many T-shirts he's had. He's
4.
had 3 or 4 T-shirts already.
4 T-shirts in 6 months.
Yeah.
And I would say that would have a lot to do with, I don't know, why his merchandise sales are so good. What a shock. I love you produce a lot of T-shirts, they produce a lot of sales. It's not rocket science, people.
No. And, obviously, maybe Vince could just look to his right and see why the ratings and things are down is because of this jackass that is trying to bury any kind of push. I mean, hello, Adam Rose, you had a very great opportunity to capitalize on him after the E60 thing aired. Paige is
nothing.
Yeah, and
I think they did less than nothing. They paired him with Rosa Mendez.
Yeah, and Paige, I mean, has the most promise of anybody in the Divas division. Had the chance to do something different with her, and they didn't. They just did the same old shit. They put the title on her a couple times, but obviously they have not let Paige be Paige, and Paige has expressed that before.
Well, if there's one thing Dunn needs to worry about, it looks to me like Stephanie's gotten very much behind the Divas division right now. Mm-hmm. And if Dunn goes in there and tries to start messing with that, it's one thing to mess with Hunter. I think it's probably something entirely different to mess with Stephanie as far as the backstage political powers go.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to follow this, see what kind of trend we got here. We'll jump ahead of ourselves a little bit. I will let you know I was at the Smackdown taping on Tuesday night, and Adam Rose did not come out with Rosa. I don't know if that was just because...
I actually heard he wasn't with Rosa last week as well on Main Event and it was either Main Event or Superstars. That's the case. 2 weeks in a row she hasn't been there. I think the writing might be on the wall for Miss Mendez. She's not being used on Total Divas anymore. She's not coming out with Adam Rose. I think we're about to wish Rosa Mendez her best in her future endeavors.
They gave her another opportunity after she got herself cleaned up, but you have the opportunity, but still you have to do something with it. You can't just be handed everything. And right now she's clearly piss poor in the ring, and there's nothing much for her to do anyways. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things go with Kevin Owens going forward as well. All signs are pointing to him and Cesaro at SummerSlam. We'll get a little more into that once I kind of give you my live report.
Dude, I've actually read things online this week that claim WWE doesn't even have plans to use Kevin Owens at SummerSlam. I mean, that's how bad this has gotten right now.
The end of SmackDown will suggest otherwise.
I would really hope so. I want him on freaking SummerSlam, but just those reports that kind of scared the hell out of me. I'm like, wow, okay, like you guys are really claiming, stuff like this.
Hopefully it results in some changes with basically letting go of Kevin Dunn. That would be okay.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Shifting over to TNA, according to PW Insider, TNA Wrestling is now going to change the way that they pay their performers because they're going away from the guaranteed contract and going for a pay-per-appearance type of deal. Several performers on the roster were informed of this new payment plan over the last week. In some cases, they say TNA will pay talents a little more than per appearance because that'll make up the loss for the guaranteed deals. But the problem is right now, Matt, they don't really do any live shows, and obviously, to nobody's surprise, the performers are not happy about this, and that's probably the reason why they lost guys like James Storm, Austin Aries, and Magnus recently. Obviously, wrestlers aren't happy, but obviously TNA has to do this correctly.
Yeah, my question
to survive, they have to go this way.
My question is, the way they're talking, is this for the entire roster, or is this only for 75% of the roster? Because if they're going to start taking these chances on people like Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle, and EC3, they might not be on the TNA roster very long.
The report specifically states that Angle and Hardy are expected to retain their guaranteed contracts.
I would imagine if TNA isn't as dumb as they seem right now, that he would most certainly, above anybody else in that company right now, make sure Jeff Hardy has that guaranteed deal.
Mm-hmm. When is Hardy supposed to be back from that broken leg? It's probably not too far away. Right?
He's actually scheduled to be on Impact next week, but I'm pretty sure he's not. I'm pretty sure he's not wrestling yet. I think he is due back in August. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they're doing I think they're doing Impact tapings for the next 6 nights in Orlando right now. So
now you've been following the product more than me. I've kind of given up on it right now. With everybody gone, what is the current status on the programming quality for TNA right now?
The Impact that aired Wednesday night was one of the worst episodes of Impact I've seen all year. Probably the worst episode of Impact since they've been on Destination America. Why
is it?
It just seems like a mess. There's no direction at all. It seems like everything's been sliced and put together. I don't know, man. The entire episode felt bad to me. I fell asleep during it, to be perfectly honest, and I don't fall asleep during a wrestling product, even when it's bad.
We go to possible SummerSlam rumor here, according to Wrestling Observer Radio. It sounds like we will get the return of Sting.
The Icon!
The Icon. It appears that there may be a 6-man tag where he will help out Ambrose and Roman Reigns against the Wyatt family. Now we got, obviously Eric Rowan is out on for the foreseeable future at least, and so we did get the great reuniting of Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt. Right now the speculation is Bo Dallas joins his brother. I think this is good for Bo.
They're not doing anything with him, It couldn't hurt.
Bo's had some recent matches with Ambrose too, so that kind of fits in a little bit where they've had a little bit of issues, mostly ending up in a squash match for Ambrose though. But Bo Dallas needs some direction right now, and I think this is the right direction to give to him. And
it takes away his New Day-ish gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Which is probably a good thing for the New Day, because you want to keep that type of thing more surrounded on one set of people instead of multiple people.
Yeah, it was a good gimmick, and it got him to the main event level on NXT, but I don't think it's something that can get him to the main event level on the main roster. But Bo is very young, so there's a lot of time for him to figure things out. I don't think the WWE is even close to even giving up on him.
No.
He's back on TV regularly, and so
hopefully they change his gear.
Yeah,
he needs to get out of that white underwear trunks, man.
But imagine a brother duo in Bray and Bo that transforms Bo. I think this is something that will be for the better of both guys.
For that.
All right, we are not covering Tough Enough tonight, but we are going to mention Tough Enough from last night. In a shocking turn of events, Patrick, which is considered the best guy clearly of the men on the roster, he's kind of got that it factor. He's got the promos are okay. He's clearly great in the ring. He has experience, and he got the boot, Matt.
It's rigged.
You think it's rigged?
I really do. I watched the Twitter timeline when this vote started. I mean, I know you can vote you can vote via Twitter, but my timeline and what I was looking at with the hashtags, it was like 70. I would say it was probably like 65-35, Josh to ZZ. And I didn't see one vote for Josh. And he got, and then they claimed that Josh got the most votes with like 39%, that ZZ got second with 36, and that Patrick went home with 25. So I really do not believe for 1 second, judging by what I looked at while the vote was ongoing, that Patrick only got 25% of the vote. Like, I don't believe it for a second. I think it's absolutely bullshit, and I think it was a rig job by WWE to get people to be talking about the show, because the show has dropped in ratings pretty much every week that it's been on, and has not been a rating success for the company. And I think WWE, as stupid as this sounds, thinks by eliminating the favorite, that is going to make people want to come and take a look at it next week, which I think will actually do the exact opposite, and nobody's going to want to come look at it next week. But yeah, I'm telling you right now, and I already stated this on Twitter. If they eliminate Amanda next week, don't ask me to do Tough Enough recaps after that, because I won't be watching another episode of the show.
Yeah, the show is already shaky with the format that it's going to be anyways, and just I don't get the reasoning. The reason why we bring this up is because somebody high profile in the wrestling industry by the name of Mick Foley publicly showed his displeasure of the elimination of Patrick. Some tweets include, "At this point, it becomes a popularity contest, which isn't how you find a star of the future. At this point, I'm officially tapping out of Tough Enough." Then he tweets, "To Patrick, you made the mistake of thinking Tough Enough was a wrestling show. Sorry to see you go." And then on his Facebook page, Foley wrote more about it. "Enough's enough. With the elimination of Patrick 2 weeks after the dismissal of Daria, I'm officially tapping out of Tough Enough. In order for a future season to seem relevant, the WWE needed a guy who could step into the role in the main roster within a year's time. Sure, there are promising prospects that are left, but each one's a long-term project and a roll of the dice. Yeah. Patrick was the real deal, and now he's gone, along with this particular viewer." So obviously Foley is well known in the community, in the wrestling community. He's got quite the following on social media.
I haven't seen Foley this fired up since the Royal Rumble before WrestleMania 30, when Daniel Bryan wasn't in the match. And Foley went to town on WWE that week. And I think this was the most fired up I've seen him since that point. So, if there's one thing I always give Foley credit for, he really doesn't give a damn what anybody says. And he always speaks from his heart. And he's always going to say what he thinks. And honestly, with all the wrestlers getting podcasts nowadays, I think Mick Foley would be an awesome person to have a podcast.
Oh, no doubt. I'm surprised.
I think he would be fascinating to listen to his stories and get his insight on the product on a weekly basis.
I'm surprised he doesn't have one already, but at the same time, he does a lot of touring for his comedy shows and making appearances, so he is quite a busy man, so that's probably the reason why he doesn't have one right now.
Makes sense.
Let's shift gears to NXT from tonight, and tonight is the return of Finn Balor after winning the NXT Championship in Tokyo. Gigantic "You Deserve It" chant breaks out for Balor, and he talks about wrestling all over the world. And he said the minute the title was handed to him, he knew it was worth it. And the crowd chants once again for Balor. Balor puts over Kevin Owens for everything he's done, including pinning John Cena. The crowd popped at that one. That was kind of funny. But he says the one thing he didn't do is pin him in Japan. And there will be a contract signing, as the WWE has a big boner for contract signings. And that'll be at the end of the show tonight. Eva Marie makes her NXT debut next. And she cuts a little promo thanking Regal for the opportunity and claims she has put a lot of work into her training. She faces Cassie, and Eva comes out and does a couple of moves, and the commentators are really trying hard to put her over, and a couple of people started chanting Eva, but overall the crowd kind of shits on her. But
I honestly disagree. I thought the crowd was very, very kind and nice to her tonight.
You think so?
There were Eva chants. She got the John Cena chant, "Let's go Eva, Eva sucks." And I thought what I expected out of that crowd, which was honestly nonstop relentless booing, were actually really positive and open to allowing her to work. And I thought she worked a really good match against Cassie, and she's only. I liked what I saw. I'm continuing to support her, and I'm very much looking forward to see what she does next.
So you thought she looked pretty good in the ring tonight?
I did. And
it looks like she's using the old Brian Kendrick move, sliced bread number 2, for her finisher, huh?
She did. She nailed it. I thought it looked solid. She's not perfect. She's much better on offense. She still needs to work on her selling on like the defensive end. But other than that, compared to what you might have saw her on the main roster a year or wherever ago, it's night and day difference. She's much, much better now.
Shouldn't she be further along, though, with the time she's been in the WWE?
No, because WWE brings her in, and 2 weeks later she's on the road for Total Divas. They never gave her any time to train. You bring her into the company and you immediately throw her to the wolves. How are you supposed to train on the road? All these people that are brought up to the main roster already know how to work. They brought Eva to the main roster with really next to no training whatsoever and expected her to learn on the fly. That just doesn't work. I think the training she's done with Kendrick shows that she's had a lot of in just a couple months that she's been training with him, she's been doing really well. I would imagine if you take the Total Divas timeline, she's probably been training with Kendrick since like February or March. Mm-hmm. So she's only been training with him for like 4 months now. 4 to 5 months, depending on what month you wish to believe the training started. But I think she's doing really well.
So this
is not something you learn over. This is not something you learn overnight to do.
So did they bring Kendrick in to kind of be a trainer, kind of like Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble? Or is this just something that she's doing on her own with him?
No, this was a WWE request. WWE requested her to go work with him in California. This was a WWE decision. This had nothing.
Obviously, they want to put everything behind her. It's clear.
Yeah, and I am totally all for that. I think with the division the way it's getting on the main roster right now, and she earns her stripes in NXT and comes up, I think nothing but good things for Eva and the Divas division as a whole going forward.
We head backstage. William Regal is on a phone call, and Tyler Breeze interrupts and says he wants something big for TakeOver Brooklyn, and, we already know what that's going to be.
Freaking Tyler Breeze is just, like, laying on his desk in his pose that he's on the ring apron when Regal walks into his office. It's just like, what the hell? But, yeah, we all know he's going to be fighting Jushin Thunder Liger, and, yeah, it should be pretty freaking great.
Definitely excited for that. Baron Corbin wins a quick match. I don't even think they said the guy's name. He got beat so quick.
Dude, it was like 10 seconds. And he was Will Corbin. He went in, hit end of days, and that was it.
Samoa Joe fights Mike Morales. Is this Mike Morales' debut?
I've never seen the guy before, so I would say probably yes.
He did play college football for Minnesota. But then hey, he gets to be a punching bag for Samoa Joe. But once again,
Samoa Joe's rocking that theme music remix. Much better.
Yes,
much better.
Well, you couldn't get any worse than what they had. I mean, holy shit. Can we please
tell
get
us how you really feel?
Can we please get Samoa Joe a feud?
He actually has one in place. If you read ahead on the tapings, but I'm not gonna give that away here. But he does have a feud in place. That certainly looks like is going to happen at TakeOver.
Good. Well, we already have that.
As long as he wins, it's going to be great. If he loses, I'm going to flip my shit. So
we already have a stat card for that TakeOver event. It's already building nicely, so it'll be good to have Joe in a feud and a meaningful match. We get the return of Bayley, and Bayley comes back after her hand injury and takes on Emma. And we get ourselves a little Bayley to belly to finish up that match. Good to see Bayley back in the ring. I highly think that she could be the next women's champion unless they decide to quickly pull the trigger on Dana Brooke. I don't know. It's Bayley's turn. It's got to be. Don't you think, Matt? Or do you think they go in Dana Brooke's direction?
I mean, I would definitely think Bayley is next in line for the champ. Mm-hmm. I don't think Dana's ready for the championship yet.
No, she's still too green. And Sasha is now, I mean, she was kind of a face on her end of the NXT run. Clearly, she's now a heel on the main roster, so she can go back to being that heel. So I think Bayley would be a perfect matchup for the next time they have a Divas Championship match there. Speaking of heel face, the Vaudevillains are apparently good guys now, which obviously makes sense now that they're kind of facing Blake and Murphy, and they're definitely full on heel right now. They take on my favorite prospect tag team duo of Fulton and Dawkins. Not much to speak about here, just a match to put over the Vaudevillains. But like I said, I hope they don't give up on Fulton and Dawkins. I think they got a lot of promise, especially kind of in the mold of Jordan and Gable. So Dawkins, I think, has a bright future. Like I said last week, I think when I was putting him over, we haven't seen enough of Fulton because basically they're always in squash matches, and Dawkins is the only one that gets offense. So we'll, but obviously with the need of depth in the tag team division, it's good to see that at least Dawkins and Fulton are kind of being more of a regular mainstay on NXT. Time for the contract signing, and Kevin Owens comes out and gets into it with a couple of fans at ringside because, Kevin Owens is a good asshole. Regal just wants to get this over and done with because, contract signings, they don't always go well. Owens says that he's going to, basically cuts a promo saying how good he is and that Japan was a fluke, and he'll be the first ever two-time NXT champion. Kind of interesting, Matt, that we haven't had a two-time NXT champion.
Yeah, but I mean, mostly by the time when they're ready to drop the championship, they're already on the main roster. Mm-hmm. So it's not really surprising.
It's a good point, but in the history of the championship, it's been around for a good 2-3 years now, so it's still kind of an interesting fact, though.
Yeah.
So they end up going at it. Regal gets knocked down to the floor. Baylor gets the upper hand at the end as Owens does what he does best. Walk, Owens, walk.
Yeah, I'm not taking that. I'm really not.
Let's move to Raw. Kansas City, Missouri for this edition of Monday Night Raw. And leading off the show, the dead man, The Undertaker. And The Undertaker, kind of a deep, darker voice that he uses here. I almost sound like he damn near kind of sounded like Macho Man here, Matt.
A lot of people were comparing him to Christian Bale's Batman on social media that night. But I thought he did good. I didn't have any hate on it.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it, but there were times where it almost sounded like Macho Man. It was kind of funny at that point, but a great promo, basically saying that he's going to challenge Lesnar's mortality at SummerSlam. Great promo, and then basically that was it to start off Monday Night Raw, and then we cut to Triple H and Stephanie backstage. They basically know Heyman and Lesnar are in the building, so Paul, I just call Triple H Paul. Like, he's my good buddy, you know.
Oh,
my buddy Paul.
You guys are tight.
My buddy Paul, I got him on speed dial. Triple H calls Heyman and tells him that they need to stay away from Raw tonight because Lesnar is uncontrollable and they do not want to screw up the SummerSlam main event. We get ourselves the announcement of the main event for Monday Night Raw. Cena, Orton, and Cesaro are going to take on Owens, Rusev, and Sheamus. That'll be a pretty fun event, I think. We kick off Monday Night Raw's matches with a Divas match. How about that? We get Charlotte come into the ring with Paige and Becky Lynch against Brie Bella, with the rest of her Bella army in tow. And great little match for the time given. They got 9 minutes and led into the figure eight with Brie tapping out. Great match, put Charlotte over again, and we're giving Divas a chance, and so far they're following through, Matt.
Yeah, the Divas are totally, everything about the Divas is delivered since they brought those 3 girls up. I just hope Kevin Dunn doesn't stick his nose where it doesn't belong and ruin it.
That is so. We're gonna personally go and do a little beat there.
I told you to go after when you were at Smackdown Tuesday night.
I tried. Triple H just wants to get on the phone with Heyman, saying he doesn't care what Lesnar's insisting on. He's going to allow the match. He doesn't want the match to be destroyed. Tells Heyman to take the night off, and lo and behold, the Miz has the audacity to interrupt Triple H, complaining about getting the old KO punch to the face at Battleground. And Hunter said, "Well, okay, well you get a face Big Show in a match." And Miz is like, "That's not what I wanted." Well, he's like, "Well, that's what you're gonna get, pal."
Yeah, don't piss off Triple H when he's already angry.
Yeah, and
like, what the hell are you thinking?
Don't interrupt him when he's on the phone because he's doing something more important than you, Miz. Even though we love him. We're kayfabe in that one. We love Miz. Los Matadores are still on the roster for some damn reason, and they
winning for some damn reason.
They take on the Primetime Players, and with interference from a New Day, Los Matadores get the win. This was completely stupid. 5 minutes of waste of time.
So the New Day can't beat Primetime Players, but Los Matadores can. Yep. I mean, I don't care if it was by distraction or not. Los Matadores should not be winning matches on Raw.
No. And this is where it seems like the injuries to the tag team division are starting to come to fruition because this is stupid. We're probably gonna. Yeah, exactly. I need a soundboard. Eventually, I might work on getting that soundboard here.
There we go.
But I guess we're probably looking at a Fatal 4-Way triple threat type of deal at SummerSlam. I'm assuming.
If the New Day win the titles back, I'm totally okay with that.
Mm-hmm. So. I mean, PTP is great. They're way over on the Smackdown taping that I was at on Tuesday. You know, they're good for business in the tag team divisions, and that's what we got right now is them in a New Day, and so continuing that feud is also best for business. It's just Los Matadores boring me to fucking tears.
What?
Big Show Miz coming up, and this is about like a Baron Corbin match. It lasted a couple minutes. Big Show ended the match.
Longer than a Baron Corbin match.
That's true. You had to count to 60 for this one, I think, instead of 5. Big Show ending the match with a different type of style, a flying elbow off the middle rope. A little different there. Basically, still heel versus heel. Big Show is not a face, and once Ryback is back, they'll resume that feud, and hopefully they do continue the with the triple threat. Even though we talked about it may need a different flavor just because we had that build up and then of course no payoff. Maybe we see the triple threat match on a Raw, which wouldn't be bad, Matt.
Yeah, I'm not sure what direction they're going, but it certainly seemed like they wrote Miz out of the story. Big Show just destroyed him on Raw. So, I mean, I guess we'll wait and see what they're going to do. But
now,
that's what it kind of seemed like to me. It kind of seemed like they wrote him out.
Miz has been pretty gold on this feud, and then obviously with the good work he's done on Tough Talk, do you think he gets rewarded sometime soon?
I would like to see him get rewarded. I think Miz has been bringing it.
Even with Sandow, he's been playing one of the better heels in the company, and the guy can go. He fucking main evented WrestleMania 4 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would like to see it. I think it would be good, for almost everybody involved. So we'll see.
Stephanie and Triple H backstage with an artist, which
Rob Schamberger, baby.
Yep, Rob Schamberger, doing a pretty cool painting showing off all of John Cena's merch. And all of a sudden, out of the corner of the eye, there is Paul Heyman. Triple H yells at him, and Heyman says, "He just
Paul.
What are you doing here?" Sorry, that was Christian Bale there. What are you talking about?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Heyman says he just wants to deliver Lesnar's response in the ring, and then he's out of here. Stephanie doesn't trust him. Hunter says, we're going to need more security, a.k.a. indie jobbers. And then she added, we'll probably need half the locker room, too, which you'll see in a minute.
Them and their spy teasing.
They cut to Stephanie and Hunter talking to a bunch of people in the locker room, saying they are not going to let these guys destroy each other, and they need to prevent something major happening. Paul Heyman enters the ring doing what to me almost seems like a heel promo, kind of bringing up the old Undertaker conquered at WrestleMania spiel. So do you think we're transitioning Lesnar back to a heel now?
I didn't think it came across that way.
I thought it did, just because he was bringing up the past.
Well, Undertaker brought up the past first.
True.
That was really on Taker. So
Heyman ends his great promo, as he always does. He ends his great promo saying, "You could sell your soul to the devil, but your ass belongs to Brock Lesnar." And that's when the lights go out. Undertaker is in the ring, and Heyman is a good thing he's wearing dark pants, because he about shit himself. And then Brock Lesnar's music hits as he comes down to the ring, and they start to brawl. And then the entire roster gets involved. And we see this from time to time, Matt. But I think this was a little more special and a great moment for Raw.
I thought it was one of the best ones they've ever done, and especially for it to span across 2 breaks. I thought it was great. I loved it.
Instead of doing the typical break free from everybody and dive diagonally across the ring, Lesnar kind of slips everybody, goes outside of the ring and runs around, and then clocks the Undertaker some more. Everybody gets the 2 guys separated. Yes, and then they head backstage after the commercial. They're backstage and they see each other again. And the great part about this one was Lesnar went out of his way to flip a table before he got to the Undertaker. He didn't need to. It wasn't in his way. He just went and flipped it
because he could.
And of all guys trying to calm Lesnar down, R-Truth doing it was kind of hilarious. Too bad he wasn't in his king. That's right. He lost the crown, so I guess he can't do that anymore. But still, kind of funny to see Truth trying to calm down the beast. The cops put him on some zip ties and carry him away. But man, like you said, that's going to be a moment when we look back at 2015. That's going to be one of the better moments in the WWE for the year.
Agreed.
So. Smoke clears from those 2 big bad bastards, and now who shows up? Seth Rollins. And he says he's going to cut a promo a little later on. Bray Wyatt cuts a promo with Luke Harper. basically saying continuing his anyone but you Roman. But kind of cool thing there, we get to hear Luke Harper talk because, we all know Luke Harper can cut a good promo too.
Agreed.
Luke Harper against Roman Reigns. Bray Wyatt in there with Luke, and Dean Ambrose comes out to help Roman Reigns. A little fist bump from Roman as a thank you for the support. Pretty good match between Harper and Reigns. Harper's been kind of left off for a while, so it was kind of a fresh matchup. Pretty good, but no surprise. Roman Reigns wins by disqualification once Bray Wyatt gets going. Obviously setting the table up right now for Foreman involved. But as we have reported on Lost in the Midcard, Matt, we might get a little icon added to that one.
Showtime, folks.
Seth Rollins comes out to the ring to cut a promo and basically saying he is still the champ and he's the best champion in this industry. And he has Lillian Garcia come to the ring and tell her that he has won the match by DQ due to outside interference, and the winner is The Undertaker, but still WWE Champion Seth Rollins. And this gets cut off by John Cena. John Cena. We got an exhale from Matt. John Cena enters the ring and basically says that he has been the one defending his title night in and night out, while Seth Rollins has taken the easy way out. Basically, Cena wants to challenge him right there and now, and Rollins acts like he's gonna mix it up with Cena, but he backs out and leaves the ring. Cena ends the segment with "The champ is here." So a good little face-off between the two, and this is a point in the show where Matt and I disagree. Matt, you are not liking the fact that John Cena is possibly teasing a match with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam.
No, because if John Cena's teasing a match with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam, he should have dropped the United States title the night before. There was absolutely no reason for him to take that title into another program. If Cena drops that title on Sunday and immediately goes after the WWE title afterwards, nobody's going to question it. But the fact that you're going to not put over another guy that needs to be made, thanks to Kevin Dunn, and then you're going to propel him into the WWE title picture again, it's not good business. And you're potentially taking this match to New York and Brooklyn. You're not going to get a good reaction from this. And if you're looking for something positive for Cena, this isn't going to work, because pretty much in Brooklyn, Seth Rollins is going to be a babyface. It's just a bad call by WWE.
I kind of disagree. This is part of the reason. I think, first off, I think Cena has put on such great matches. I think he kind of deserves to be in a title shot for the title, the WWE title. I fully expect Seth Rollins to come out the winner here. As for Kevin Owens, my argument is basically before we learned about the Kevin Dunn story, but my argument is, while Kevin Owens has had some matches this year, he's just getting started, so just give it a little time. It's not the end of the world that he did not win the U.S. title. I think this is better for business, because if he has a promo with Cesaro at SummerSlam, Night of Champions have him go against Ryback for the IC strap.
Who?
But Owens.
No, dude, they're still going in the Ryback Big Show direction. That's not. That's as much as we want it to be. That's not done yet.
Well, Ryback Big Show probably still going to be SummerSlam. He should be back well before that.
Yeah.
So after Ryback,
we don't know how long. A staph infection, serious business, man.
Yeah. Well, they said a couple 2 to 4 weeks, so he can be back in time for either the second to last or the last Raw before SummerSlam, and they can still have the match because Big Show's still kind of carrying the feud, calling out Ryback. So I just don't think it's as bad as people are up in arms at. I mean, I don't think this is the time that Cena's going to tie Ric Flair. I still am under the belief that Rollins is going to carry the title to WrestleMania and drop it then, either to Reigns, Ambrose, or Lesnar, depending on what direction they go. I still think Rollins holds the title till WrestleMania. Cena's not going to win it. It makes no sense. On top of that, I think it is better for the U.S. title if Cena loses it on a challenge on Raw. So that's where this whole situation, all of a sudden the John Cena haters came out of the woodwork that now that he's in the title picture, after he's put on match of the year after match of the year, why not put him with Rollins? Because this is going to be possibly another match of the year candidate. That's what I got to say about that. Divas time again.
I was going to say, we could argue about this all night. It's not worth it. So, yeah, move on.
Well, I'm right and you're wrong, so.
Yeah, you wish.
Hey, Matt, another Divas segment.
I know.
What? Becky Lynch and Paige against Naomi and Sasha Banks. The Bellas, I think, were on commentary here. I can't remember.
They were.
Phenomenal tag team match. Once again, I think Sasha was the star of the match again. That girl just is phenomenal. And lo and behold, these ladies got 13 minutes. So 22 minutes of match time for the Divas on Raw. What? Great match. The right team went over here as Sasha Banks hasn't and Naomi haven't really had a moment since the whole 9 women feud started. So good to see Sasha Banks getting Paige tapping out with the bank statement. And I don't know what else to say, Matt. Keep doing it, huh?
Just got to keep going in this direction, man. I mean, that's really all we can hope for. That it just continues to be this good.
And I love your idea for a 9-women elimination triple threat tag match. I hope they go that route.
Gives them plenty of time. It'll allow them to showcase everybody.
We just can't.
It sounds good to me.
It's unfathomable to have a one-on-one match or anything. We've already done the triple threat match with a woman in each team. We're going to have singles matches between this whole mixture for the next 4 weeks. I don't see what other direction to go to. I just know they probably won't choose what you came up with, even though they should. But yeah, kudos to the Divas again, as they were great. Lana gets interviewed by Renee Young and says that Ziggler's resting at home and waiting for him to be medically cleared. Summer Rae comes out dressed as Lana. How about that there, Matt? She looking pretty good in that Lana outfit.
I thought she looked worse, honestly. I don't think the look works for her at all.
I don't think they're trying to get it to work for her as more as to shove it in Lana's face, though. Rusev comes in and says that Summer looks very angel-like and kisses Summer right in front of Lana while looking at Lana. And then we get ourselves a nice little slap from Summer Rae to Lana. And so there you go. We continue that little feud. Hopefully Ziggler's back soon. And it sounds like he probably will be because they're not really going in any other direction with Rusev at this point. Main event time. John Cena, Cesaro, Randy Orton against Kevin Owens, Sheamus, and Rusev. Great 6-man tag match to end the night, and I love the unique finish where Cena hits Rusev with the AA, and then Cesaro does a swing and then slingshots him into an RKO. I just thought that was a fun way to end the match, Matt.
Yeah, it was cool.
Basically what happened here was Sheamus walked out and then Kevin Owens walked out, something that Owens has done quite a bit lately. But still a great end to what was a pretty good Raw, wouldn't you say, Matt?
Well, besides the Seth Rollins Cena segment, I thought it was one of the better Raws they've put on in a while. Last week's Raw was really good. This week's Raw, if you eliminated the Cena Rollins segment from happening, it would have been just as great.
Or if you thought the Cena Rollins segment was good, then it was really good.
Sucked.
Matt, you gotta just accept it. Embrace the hate.
There's no hate, dude. It's just freaking reality.
But what if? I mean, isn't it fine if Rollins comes out with the winner?
No.
Why not?
Because then you're taking credibility away from the United States Championship.
I don't know. I mean, we're still doing the challenge, so I think.
Look, if Cena needs to drop that title before SummerSlam.
I'm expecting that he will.
If he,
I don't know
who. He needs to drop that title before SummerSlam.
I don't know who, right offhand, would be a good one to answer the challenge and take it from him.
Jim Neidhart?
Yeah, there you go. How about Harley Race?
You said who, so.
Maybe Cesaro, and then it's Owens and Cesaro for the U.S. title at SummerSlam. But we're in a good direction, at least heading into one of the bigger pay-per-views of the year, with a blockbuster main event that was just boiled over, and we still have a few weeks left for that feud to continue to boil. And Matt, do you have any knowledge or guesses on how many of the 4 remaining Raws that Lesnar will be at?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know. I would say at least half of them. I would think he'll be at to date last month. So I know his new deal was more dates per year than he initially had. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure of how many, but I would say SummerSlam's 4 weeks from now, I believe now. So I would say we'll probably see him on at least 2 of the 4 Raws going into SummerSlam.
And definitely guaranteed the go home show they'll both be there. So
yeah.
Now the rumor is they're holding off Sting for a couple of weeks before bringing him in. Could you imagine if they bring in Sting on the go home show and you have Taker and Lesnar on the same Raw?
See, I'm not waiting that long to bring Sting in, with the factor of you're trying to make sure people aren't gonna drop the network this month going into your conference call announcement to say how much money or how many subscribers you guys have, because they have that call on July 30th.
Yeah.
So if I'm WWE, I'm bringing Sting in this Monday. So be like, hey, everybody, Sting's going to be in SummerSlam. Don't cancel your network subscription. I wouldn't be waiting to bring Sting in, because I would want my subscription numbers to be as high as humanly possible when they announce them at the end of this month. So
yeah. The rumor is they're holding him off for a couple weeks, but yeah, I fully agree. I mean, we already got Taker and Lesnar off to a rocket ship start. Bring Sting Monday.
Yeah,
Bring him this Monday.
Because I mean, if your subscriber count's lower than it was when you last announced it, if it's lower than 1.3, your stock is going to plummet.
Oh yeah.
Then the number has to be higher than it was the last announcement, because if it's lower, then that's a lot of trouble for the company. So I'm bringing Sting on Monday, and I'm doing it that way. But yeah. I guess we'll wait and see what they do.
I fully agree. I think that's best for business right now. The rumor is not going to be with what we want, but hopefully that's just a rumor. No Ring of Honor really to speak of this week, as they just had their 200th episode, and basically it was a recap show of some of the best matches over their television history. But a good main event, though, for a new match on the show, eight-person tag match with the House of Truth, including Martini in the ring against the Briscoes, ODB, and Roddy Strong, and a great match not much else to say there, but a great match and the good guys getting over there. But if you're kind of like me and not been or new to Ring of Honor, definitely catch it because it does showcase some great matches over highlighting guys like AJ Styles, Red Dragon, The Addiction, and also Lance Storm, who I didn't know was in Ring of Honor.
Yep.
So definitely catch it. Yeah, Lance Storm taking on a younger Mike Bennett before the Kingdom was made. So definitely a good show to catch. Just not much to really recap because most of it was a recap show. So
yeah, and I will be at Death Before Dishonor this Friday night in Baltimore, live on Internet Pay-Per-View, and I will be at the following night at their TV tapings for the next several weeks. So definitely, as JB was able to do a live thoughts from SmackDown, I'll be able to give some live hands-on impressions from Ring of Honor's stuff this upcoming weekend as well.
And Matt, speaking like a true podcast professional, you just threw a great segue my way. As we are ending the show with my thoughts on SmackDown, I went to the SmackDown taping in Lincoln, Nebraska on Tuesday night, and it was a blast. It was my first live show in quite some time, so though I wish Raw would come to Lincoln, it was good to see SmackDown come back so soon after it wasn't that long ago that they were here for SmackDown, so it was kind of cool that they swung back our way.
Did they announce a comeback date?
Not off the top of my head, but I had a lot of beer.
No,
so
understandable.
I don't think they did. I think it ended with Eden saying good night. So first off, we got a dark match. So before the main event taping, we got a dark match. Jack Swagger came out. Great ovation for Jack Swagger.
That's interesting.
They need. Well, it's the first match. So obviously, somebody comes out, you're going to react to the first guy coming out.
I'm sure he was thrilled with the reaction. So
it was a good reaction, and obviously a loud "We the People." Interesting. Brad Maddox comes out, cuts a promo, a heel promo, hating on Lincoln, Nebraska, so he can get some cheap booze there. He didn't come out to any music or anything. He came out with his button-up shirt and suspenders, and I just thought he was cutting a promo to lead up to somebody else coming out, but no, Brad Maddox took on Jack Swagger in the dark match, and I thought Maddox looked fine. So I don't know where they're going to go with it, but I thought he looked okay in the ring, and the promo he cut was good. So it'll be interesting. What's that?
I said cool.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where they go with him from here on out. We start the main event taping here, and we got a Mike Chioda chant started, and he acknowledged us, so that was great. And R-Truth comes out. We did. He pointed over. He liked it. R-Truth comes out to a pretty nice ovation. Obviously, the crowd getting into the "What's Up" chant. He faces Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas cutting a nice little promo there. So that was a nice little match there between those two. At that point, I think I told Matt I'm on beer 5 or 6.
Oh, JB.
And to my surprise, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Sign Guy was there.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere, but it's Lincoln, Nebraska. And speaking of Lincoln, Nebraska,
way to play over your town, buddy.
I know. I am pissed off that they did not have a Lincoln, Nebraska Suplex City shirt. They just had the generic one.
That's not cool.
No. Main event, we get ourselves a tag team match between New Day. And I tell you what, right as I entered the arena, and it was still very sparse, and a New Day sucks chant was already going on. Lucha Dragons and New Day. And so it was pretty cool to see Kalisto in person. I was pretty excited for that. Primetime players come out, and they're wearing Husker hats just to suck up to the crowd, but they got over pretty quick.
Yeah, be sour.
Oh, yeah. They did that. Even though it was on main event, he goes, "Lincoln, Nebraska! Don't you dare be sour." Ambrose, I'm sorry, what the hell am I talking about? Oh yeah, somebody told me that Ambrose and Rollins were fighting a street fight for the title. Apparently that was a false report. We'll get to that later.
Maybe it was like local TV advertising or something.
It might have been. But
a lot of time that's really heavily subject to change.
The main event primetime players took on the Ascension, and tell you what, watching Titus Young at a live event, I mean, he's great with the crowd and gets them pumped up, and that great. He's really good with the crowd. It's time for SmackDown, and I tell you what, man, we got a good card for SmackDown. The main event is Cesaro and Seth Rollins. We got Kevin Owens and Rusev, and Ambrose and Sheamus open up the match. Guess who starts the "You Look Stupid" chant?
You.
Yeah. So we'll see if I got a witness that witnessed me starting it. So
I am in no way shocked.
So pretty good match there. Neville and Stardust are continuing their feud. Looks like that'll probably go into SummerSlam and probably Amel being in Neville's corner and them mixing it up, I think. Adam Rose comes out minus
Adam Rose.
Adam Rose comes out minus Rosa and takes on Neville, so I got to see the Red Arrow in person. And I got it on my cell phone too, so
can't beat that.
Yeah, I got that bitch recorded. I had the cell phone up, and I knew it was coming. I had the cell phone up, and I looked down so I could see it with my own eyes. I'm like, yeah. Just to let you know, for Tough Enough next week, Cesaro's going to be on there, so that might be pretty cool.
Let that push keep going for Mr. Cesaro, man.
Exactly. Owens and Rusev, they had a pretty physical match, as we say. Owens walks out. Something that's happened quite a bit.
Walk.
Yep, and that's where Cesaro's interviewed backstage, and he's wearing a BTE jacket. That's pretty cool. The old Best Team Ever with Tyson Kidd. That is where Walk Owens Walk is invented, is by Cesaro in that backstage segment on SmackDown. So it definitely looks like it's Cesaro and Owens coming into SummerSlam. Sasha and Naomi against the Bellas, kind of an odd match because they're both heels, but Lincoln, Nebraska was behind the Bellas. That was kind of interesting.
They can look, but they can't touch.
Yeah, well, that's true. kind of odd though. That's the second heel versus heel match on SmackDown for the card, but pretty decent match there. A big pop for the Bellas. So I'm curious to see if that gets edited on SmackDown or not.
Everything. It was all audio gets edited on SmackDown.
I know, but just to let you know, it was a big pop for the Bellas when it was the 1, 2, 3. So
wow.
Sorry for the spoiler there, but hey, it's not really spoiling anything major for you. Then it was
spoiling full, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, main event was Cesaro and Seth Rollins. Great match, great main event. Please watch it. You're going to enjoy it. And watching Cesaro's strength in person is just insane, Matt.
I don't doubt it.
The end of the night, I think this is still on SmackDown. Owens comes out to beat up Cesaro, so that just further cements that they're going in that direction for SummerSlam. And then the dark portion of the night, Rollins comes back to help Owens beat up Cesaro. Dean Ambrose makes the save, and then Owens does his typical walk Owens walk, and Cesaro and Ambrose put Rollins through a table. So pretty fun way to send the crowd home happy. So there you go. There's my SmackDown, and also my main event report. Where do you get main event nowadays, Matt?
Well, I think it might still be on Hulu, but they don't do it on the network anymore because of the international issues or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I think the main place to get it right now is Hulu.
Well, that's good. Any last words, Matt, before we continue our drive to SummerSlam?
Reconsider the John Cena Seth Rollins match.
Well, they didn't make it official.
That's why I'm saying to reconsider it. If anything, I'm hoping they were just testing the water.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't love it. I like it. I don't hate it. I like it. So
I would, I'd much rather see a triple threat with him, Cesaro, and Owens at SummerSlam.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see what direction that goes. That's going to do it for this edition of Lost in the Midcard. Once again, I'd like to thank SpiderDuck.net for being able to host us on iTunes. And please subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us a comment. Give us 5 stars if you like the show. And you can also find us on YouTube. Subscribe to us there. Our links are on Facebook.com/LostInTheMidcard. Go to the notes section, and they'll be right there for you. And for Matt, this is Jeremy. Have a good week of wrestling, and we will get you back. A little fuck up to end of the show, but hey, we will catch you next week. Swerve!